Greetings, friends and future friends. Today's video is on the Korg Pa5x. And what I want to show you today is a new thing called Style Creator Bot. Now, if you remember a few months ago, we did a video on how to take a style from the Genos platform or the Genos library, bring it into my software as a Midi file, change a few things, and then export out that Midi file into the Pa5x to create a style. And that was pretty cool. The Pa5x would allow you to do that. But there's something you need to be aware of. There are some certain criteria that must be on that Midi file for it to be imported into this Style Creator Bot, just like it did in the older versions. There's certain things that need to be on that Midi file, or the Pa5x will not allow that Midi file to be imported. And of course, the Style Creator Bot won't work. So, let's get in the studio and see how those things work.
Now, when I started out to do this video tutorial, I wanted to give you an in-depth view of the Style Creator Bot. But after working with it for a few days, I found that it still has some flaws and that it doesn't really bring the Midi files in the way it should be. But in this video, I'm going to show you how we can do it through the Style Creator Bot and also through the old ways of importing and exporting Midi files. For this example, I'm bringing up a style that I use a lot. It's called Chain of Fools 01. Now, what I've done is I've taken the Chain of Fools style and I exported it out as a Midi file. So if we go to File on the keyboard, you can see that my Korg 2, which is my USB drive 2 file transfer, has 3 Midi files on it. The Chain of Fools 01, Original 1, Original 2, and Original 3. Original 1 is the file that actually came out of the Korg Pa5x. The 02, Original 02, is a file that I modified and simplified. And the Chain of Fools Original 3 is one that I actually changed some stuff in the break, for an example. So we're going to go and we're going to exit out of this. And we're going to create a style from a Midi file. We hit Record Edit, we hit Style Creator Bot down there, and it brings us up to our USB drive. We're going to hit the Original 2, exit, and now we have, okay, already it's starting to create a style. And it says you want to create this style. We say yes, save, yes. And now you can see if we tap on that, this is actually a style that the Style Creator Bot just created. And if we exit out of this, but now if we play it, there's a lot of things that aren't right. Okay, first thing I want to show you is if we go to variations and all that, you can see that variation 1 has no drums. Variation 2 has drums. Really strange. I couldn't figure out what's going on. Somehow the Midi information could not get through to Style Creator Bot. And I also noticed that when I play the feel, there's no drums on feel 1. It seems like all the information isn't there. So this is a problem I found with Style Creator Bot. But now that we've created this style, there's something we can do to fix this. And I want to show you one of the ways I found that seems to work. What we can do is we exit out of this. And then we go, now it created a style from that Midi file. Now I'm going to go Record Edit. I'm going to go Style Edit. Now we're bringing up that style again. Then we hit Menu, go over here and say Import. And now what I want to do is import and go Select. And we're going to select that same Midi file. Go Exit, go Execute. Yes. Now we got to do is go Save Style. Yes. Now we exit out of this, exit out of it again. And if we play the style, now we have the style playing, and you can see all the information is there. Because now on variation 1, we have drums. And we also have a fill. The takeaway from this is that even though the Style Creator bot makes it easy to create a MIDI, take a MIDI file and create a style with it, it's not perfect. And for some odd reason, it just doesn't get all the information needed to create that style. So I suggest that we go back to the old way, and that's simple. You know, when you have a style or you want to do a new style, all you do is go record edit, you go style edit. And when you go style edit, you can go to menu, go down here, import, then you can import, hit select, we select the file and exit. And if we hit the execute, this will actually bring that MIDI information into that style. And exit out of this because we've already done that. And I find that that works the best. Now, when creating a style from a MIDI file, you can already hear that when I play that E minor, things just don't sound right at all. You know, they're kind of mixed up. Why is that? Well, it's very easy, because we go to mixer, you're going to notice that all these instruments are different from the original style. And matter of fact, I'm going to do this. I'm going to go over here to player 2, and I'm going to go to 1, and I'm going to bring up Chain the Fools and exit. Now, that's Chain the Fools, and this is Chain the Fools with the MIDI file that we just imported from the original Chain the Fools style. You can see right off the bat, this is the original style. Real quick, you can see is that organ on accompaniment 5. And now we have an acoustic piano, acoustic piano, acoustic piano. I mean, all the instruments are different. So the takeaway from this is that even though you bring in a MIDI file, you're not going to have the style just automatically be replicated, because the MIDI files are only giving you the notes and the controls, whether you're hitting the damper pedal and all that, but it's not giving you all the information you need to work a style. So if you wanted to replicate this style, or if you wanted to edit this style in your MIDI software and bring it in, you can't do it this way, because the MIDI information is just going to bring in the MIDI information for the instrument, but not tell you what's going on here. I mean, if we would go to the mixer, we go to EQ, you can see on player 1, I didn't do anything with the EQing, but I go on player 2, the original style, and you can see that right there, I -7 the bass, the low frequency in the bass guitar. And if we go back to the style we created with the MIDI file, it did not do that. So this is one big thing that you have to work around. And I'm going to show you how to solve this problem. So now I'm going to show you how you can replicate a style and then take the style information, the MIDI information, into your software, edit it, and bring it back and not miss a beat. So what we've done is I brought up Chain the Fools, the original, right here, the original style we're working with. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this style right here, and I'm going to do, let's exit out of that, and we'll do a save style. Now what I'm going to do is say save style, And then what we're going to do is we're going to put an O2 behind that. O2. Now, what we have just going to do here, we'll put that on there and save. Now, what we just did is this. We created a new style. And if we play that style, it's an exact replica of the original style. Now, what has happened? This style has all the information we need, the EQing. Now, all we have to do is go into Style Edit. And what we'll do is we'll take and hit Menu, do Import. We'll select, got Import, we'll select, and let's go to 3. Exit. Exit. Now what we want to do is save. Save style. Save. Yes. So existing. Now we can exit, not worry about losing any information. Now we have the style. And style 1, but this is a version 2. It just imported the new MIDI information. And if we play it, so what we just did is take information, a MIDI file that we changed, and brought it into an existing style. And we have all the instruments. We go back to the EQ. You can see it's all there because we had replicated the style. So the takeaway from this, you take a style that you're really working with. And remember, when you're working with a style in the computer, you're going to be playing these sounds. Take that style and replicate it. Then once you've replicated it, you can go to Style Edit. We go over to Style Edit and then go to Menu and then Import. And now you have a style with new MIDI information. So one thing I want to show you how you can do this in the computer and make it change in here. We have 2 identical styles playing. And if you remember, when we went to Record Edit, Style Edit, and then we went to Menu and we say Import, and we selected Chain the Fools 01 Original 3, which in Original 3, I modified the break. What I did is I actually got rid of the instruments in that break area. And we imported that. I'm not going to go through all that because we already did that. So, but I want you to hear the difference. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the different styles, and I'm going to just push the break, and you're going to hear that the breaks are different in these 2 styles. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have variation 1 going on. We're going to hit Shift and play and get both players playing. So now I'm in break. Did you hear the difference? Maybe I can show it to you better this way. I have player 2 started. What I'm going to do is start both players. Then I'm going to put them both on repeating the break. And then I'm going to go back and forth between each player 1 and player 2. And you're going to hear the difference in the breaks. So we'll start these up. You can see it says break. See, it says break. So just to recap what we did, we took this on player 2, this original style right here. We then took that style and saved it as a new style, which was this style right here, Chain of Fools 01 version 2. Then we took this style here, went to record edit, style edit, and then go menu, import, and then we imported the MIDI file right down here. You can see Chain of Fools 01 original 3. We tapped on that right there, and then we imported it. And then what did that do? We'll exit out all this. Now what's happening is the original Chain of Fools in player 1 is the original style that I modified in the Pa5x, and Chain of Fools 01 version 02 is the style that came from the MIDI file that I altered in the computer. So that's the way to do it. All right, we have the MIDI file that we brought in from the Korg Pa5x in my software, and I'm using Cakewalk Sonar. And as you can see, this is all the information that is exported out of the Korg Pa5x. But one of the big things you have to look at is two big things right here. One, the first 8 tracks need to be blank. So if you do attempt to make a MIDI file from scratch, you need to make sure that the first 8 tracks are null and void and there's nothing on them. Matter of fact, you can see that there's no ends. If you look right here, there's nothing coming in, no presets, nothing. They all have to be blank, that first 8. Get rid of this. And you can see that all the information of that style is down here on the 9 through 16 tracks. But the first thing you have to do, what I do when I bring a MIDI file in from a style, is I go and I view my markers. And as you can see, there are all kinds of markers on here. And you can see in this area right here, the markers are so deep you can't even tell what is what. Now, what we can do, and to make that work, is now what I have here is I call this Chain of Fools 01 Original 1. This is the actual original file. So what I usually do is go in there and you can identify the essential, the MIDI markers that are needed to create a style, like I1CV1 right here. You can see that. And that is intro 1 CV chord variation 1. So everything below that we can eliminate. We can go hit right here and we go all the way down and go shift. And what we'll do is delete all those markers. And A minor diminished all the way over to here, we can delete those also. And now you can see we have intro 1 CV1, intro 1 CV2, intro 2 CV, and so on and so forth. And then you get down here to fill. Right here, you can see that right there is fill 1 CV1, and so on. We'll get down here. There's 2 more I want to get rid of. Delete, delete. And this is one thing I want you to be very well aware of, because these markers need to be in there. So 2 things before you can do anything or import a MIDI file into the Style Creator bot or the import system that the style editor has, you need to have 2 things. One, you need to have tracks 1 through 8 blank, and you need to have these markers. All these markers. There's the intros or the I's, the fills or the F's, then the variations, then the fills, the variations, and also the fill. There's fill 3, and then down here, there it is right there. There's the break, and then down here, you can see these are the endings. So 2 things, again, I can't stress enough. Tracks 1 through 8 need to be blank, and all these markers need to be incorporated into this MIDI file, or it will not work. Okay, what we have here is I created a file called the original 2. And what this is a MIDI file from the original file, but you can see I got rid of all the markers. And we got them all down to the simplified version of the markers. But there's two things I want to show you. One, you want to, let's zoom out of this a little bit. What you want to do is create hotkeys. So what I have on my number pad on my keyboard is when I hit 9, I go up in markers, and when I hit 7, I go down in markers. So you want to do that because when you're editing these MIDI files and they get pretty big, you're going to be going back and forth between markers. And also what you want to do is you want to have a marker icon on your screen, like right up here, because then you can see what mark you're on, because that's very important to see which marker you're on. And another thing, let's go to here and we'll go to variation 1, chord change 1. Let's zoom into that a little bigger. So now what you have is I'm on marker 1 and I want to zoom up pretty good so we can get that whole, you know, how many beats. I think we'll actually zoom down a little bit to get it all in there. So that right there is the start. Right here is the start of variation 1, chord variation 1. And if you look over here on this marker over here, that's variation 1, chord variation 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to be editing. If we want to edit variation 1, chord variation 1, this is where that would take place. And that's another handy tool, is to have this up here as your loop icon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and get right on that marker and stretch that out and go right up to the next marker, and identifies it. Then we're going to create the loop. Now we have created a loop. You can see I have the loop on, I have it off, click it on. Now what's going to happen is it's going to play variation 1. So now you can see that's playing everything in variation 1, chord variation 1, variation 1, chord variation 1. And it's going to loop. If it goes all the way to the end, we'll take it right here, show you how it loops. And now that's variation 1, and we could edit anything in that. So that's two things you want to be aware of. Create these loops and then make sure you work in that loop, because you don't want to be, and make sure you have what marker you're working in between. Because if I go over here and I extend this out, now I'm actually going to be editing into variation 1, chord variation 2. So make sure when you're editing in the area that you want to edit. We're now looking at the original 2 MIDI file that I created, which actually was taking the original MIDI file and getting rid of all the markers. And we got this right here. Now what I want to do is I want to create that MIDI file 3, original 3, that had a different break. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go up here and we're going to make sure that we are on, make sure we go up and down, and we are on right here where it says break CV1, which means break chord variation 1. And we're going to go over here and take a look at this, and I think that's right between ending 1, chord variation 1. So what we're going to do is go over here and tap on this. Looks good. So now what we're going to do is create a loop. Make sure we have a loop created. And create the loop. And now this should play the break. Okay, so now we have that, we know. So all this information in here is the break. So what I did to create this variation 3, the Chain the Fulls 01 original 03 MIDI file, is I just went in here and I got rid of all this stuff. So we solo this. We'll get rid of all those drums. So we can go into the drum panel and we can see right here is where our loop is. And this should be, we're going to leave all that in there. So what we'll do is we'll get rid of all the symbols like we did. And let's say we want to delete that. So we'll just go up here and delete that. And then we'll go back and we'll delete all these. We'll leave that first symbol in there. I think that's what I did. And delete that. Then we're going to go down here and get rid of all this stuff here. Delete this, delete this, and if we play it, you can barely hear the drums. That's all we want. Excellent. And if we go de-solo, we'll come down here, and I think there's something here we soloed. I don't know what that is. And we'll get rid of that also. So right here in the middle of our thing, we'll go blank, 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 and delete that. Exit and go over here to this channel. Between that, and we're going to go delete. And move us over here and delete this also. So basically we have just about everything deleted. Go back over here, start one. Unsolo. And let's get rid of this too here. I don't like that either. And delete that. Don't delete that. That's part of it. See, I almost made a mistake. You see, I almost see over here, I almost deleted that. But you see what have happened? That was on ending one, chord variation 1. We only want to delete from here to here. From over here to over there. And you know what? Let's go over here and we'll go over to this right here and we're going to delete this in the middle. Delete that. Delete this. Go okay. And then go here. And nothing's in the middle. Looks good. And also, but you know what? I think we need, and then this right here. So go over here and delete that too. So we're going to go now, make sure we go up high enough to see these things. Go over here to here and delete that. And yeah, that's perfect. Boom. So that's all deleted. And then right here, we want to do that too. Something's up high, I think. Or maybe it's lower. Here it is. Just want to delete this, delete that. And exit out of that. And you can see we deleted just about everything except right here. I'm going to delete these guys and delete these guys and make sure, yeah, it starts up. Okay. So basically you see what we have just done. So basically you see what we just did. We took and got rid of everything except, so now all you have is the drums. Just like I have on, so let's go over here. You know what? Let's go do this while we're here. Let's figure out, I think. So let's create something right here. Let's, I think it's right here in A. So right on that. Bring that right on the edge. So now, let's start this over again. I like that. Get rid of this, delete that. Or maybe extend that out a little longer too. So you just saw what I did. I took some of these parts in the break and I eliminated them, just giving that drum track. Now what I did was I went up here and I said save as, and then I clicked on this, Chain of Fools 01, original 03 MIDI file. And that's how I created the original MIDI file number 3, which we imported. So now you can see it isn't as hard as you think to edit a file. What we did here is we went in, and between the break and ending 1, we located that, we created a loop. Then we went in here, and what I did is I erased or deleted all the other instruments other than the drums. We actually created a cymbal, put a cymbal sound in there. And now I saved this as original 3, the MIDI file original 3, then brought it in. And you could see when I played those two styles that the breaks were different. And that's because I edited one of the styles to have a different break than the other. And then you just import that MIDI file into your style, and away you go.
So I hope this video gave you a little bit more information on how to use the Style Creator Bot. I think it could be a very helpful tool when creating a style from a MIDI file. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. You'll help us grow the channel. That way we can bring you more cool stuff. So take care, my friends, and thanks for watching.